Hello, everyone. Welcome to the monthly Banzai personal or professional development webinar. My name is Rick Curtis. I will be running this webinar today. We did this last year, and I'm really excited to do it again because this is the webinar with our Teacher Advisory Board. So Banzai has a group of financial and life literacy teachers that we turn to for all of our questions, for testing out our projects, for helping us stay and keep listening to the pulse of what's going on in teaching today. They are super valuable. Right now, we have Heather and Kailey on, and we're expecting about three more. And I know some are running into some technical difficulties, so hopefully they can join soon. But yeah, today the subject of the seminar is what I wish I knew. So we're going to just talk about experiences that the teachers have had in the past that have helped them learn how to best teach in general and also teach financial literacy. We're also going to just talk about topics of what it's like to teach today in the ever-changing landscape and some of our best ideas or lessons or tools that we use to kind of be great teachers. And so I'll be running that. First thing though, if you're having audio issues, you can check and make sure, especially your Bluetooth device, that is all. That's one I ran into today as well. So, also you can ask questions in our chat. Feel free to put in the chat where you're from, what you teach, what's your favorite fruit. This is a great time to be engaged. So we are here to help answer your questions about the different topics that we're going to be talking. Natalie is going to help field those questions. So feel free at any time, ask questions. We will get to those and we will talk about them. Also, you can reach out to us on our media platforms. We love engagement. We love reaching out and hearing from teachers. So let's get started. So this is what I wish I knew, the Teacher Advisory Board Roundtable. So right now we have two of the six possible ones on. And again, we hope more are going to start rolling in soon. But Heather and Kailey, do you mind just introducing yourselves and kind of what you teach and yeah, just kind of your info. Heather, we'll start with you.
Sounds good. I'm Heather Bergholm, and I teach at Frontier Middle School. So I teach 8th and ninth graders, and I teach exploring business and marketing and digital literacy.
Awesome. And Kailey?
Hi, I'm Kailey Schulze. I teach at Newport City Elementary School in Vermont, math to fifth graders. So, not like a true financial literacy, but I like to incorporate it as much as I can.
Yes, that is awesome. We love it when teachers find a way to incorporate financial literacy into their classes. And math classes are a great one because there's so much numbers involved. Great thing about financial literacy is that it is a subject that's going to be useful for all students, no matter where they're from, or what their backgrounds are, or what their futures are going to be. We're all going to have to face finances, and learning about them is something obviously that we encourage here at Bonsai. All right, so I'm gonna start off with the question. So think back to your very first year of teaching. What would you say the number one thing you wish someone had sat down and told you about teaching financial literacy specifically, or just teaching in general? I'll give you some time to think about it, and just chime in as soon as you yeah, have a thought.
I can start. Um,
Thank
I wish I knew that, and this is going to sound conflicting, but you can expect more from your students, but also know that they probably don't know as much as you think they know, especially about financial literacy. Like they can do so many things, they have so much potential, but when I notice when they come into like fifth grade, they still don't know what a nickel is or
you.
like stuff like that. And so you have to start out really low, but you can have really high expectations.
Awesome. Heather, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, mine was a lot, kind of along those same lines as I think I had this like curriculum or list of these are like the things I'm going to teach or that we're going to discuss. And then there were times when it was like, whoa, we got to back up because they don't even understand this concept that leads into that. So maybe even just start the discussion with, okay, like, what do we know about budgeting? What is a budget? And let them do more of the like telling me what they know. So then we can take off on the concepts from there instead of me trying to lead it and not knowing where the heck they are and what they already know leading up to that.
Okay. One thing that I've been talking to teachers is that you become experts on flexibility. How do you manage being flexible, meeting the students where they are, and also the demands of getting through a curriculum and making sure that you're hitting all of the things that you need to hit?
Well, that's the age old question in teaching that maybe we haven't mastered yet, but we just try our best every day. And like, obviously, you're going to start lower, which is hard for some kids who have that higher base knowledge. And it's going to be, pretty repetitive for them or too elementary, but you can build from there and then make sure you hit all the things without overwhelming. So you just got to start low and slowly build.
Okay. So I like that concept of like uh meet the students where they're at, figure that is, and then build from there. Have either of you had to like build a curriculum top to bottom before when you first start your class or come into a new class or a new school or when you first start teaching?
Not exactly.
Mhm.
I taught at a Catholic school for a little while, and I taught like the gifted and talented. And there was no curriculum for that, and I did a specifically math gifted and talented, and then a specifically reading one. So I did kind of have to come up with a lot of stuff on my own. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're looking for new curriculum, what tools or where do you find the best place to find that now is?
I definitely start with other teachers.
Okay,
Yeah, my mom was a teacher, so she was a great resource for me.
that's
But if you
awesome.
don't have a teacher mom, there are lots of Facebook groups, and you kind of have to weed out the things that make sense in those. But I think there's a lot of helpful stuff on there. Um, yeah, teacher friends. And if you're just coming out of college, even your instructors, professors, that's where I would start. I definitely think like person to person gives you a little bit more understanding and confidence in what's being recommended to you. So
That's great. So you talk about Facebook groups as a resource, and I imagine the teachers at your various schools are going to be a great resource as well. Um, Coming from like our bonsai perspective, we're always trying to find ways to reach out to teachers. Our resources are free for all teachers to use, and we'd love it if every teacher in the country could use bonsai, but just kind of getting ourselves out there and making teachers aware of who we are and what we can provide is always something that we're fighting to do and looking to do for teachers. Do you find that just like doing a Google search is useful to like finding new things or new ideas or new ways to teach different subjects?
yeah, definitely. That's how I found bonsai. So
Okay, awesome. So that's great. I'm glad our the stuff we do to make Google work in our favor is working and we're
yeah,
finding great
got
teachers.
the algorithm down pat.
Yeah, great.
Search optimization. Well, I learned about bonsai from another teacher, and in fact, that's how most of the time when I've taught lots of different courses over my years, and each time I have a new course, I usually just reach out to a teacher that also teaches it, either within my school or my district, and usually their teachers are always willing to share information and help each other out. So that's usually how I get the information for the courses I have to teach is just through another teacher. So the more teachers obviously you can get on it, the more they'll recommend to other teachers, but that's the question, right? How do we get all the teachers to know about it?
Yeah. Um, I that is again the age-old question. How can we just get more teachers out there? And what resources can we provide teachers to be able to share that with other teachers? One other thing I wanted to make sure that we mention, I think things have changed a lot, or I feel like things have changed a lot over the past 5 years or so, with COVID really affecting how we teach and different ways of teaching, and also with AI becoming such a big thing and affecting so much in the way that we communicate and how we can grade. What has been in this past year or two? What have been ways that you've seen teaching and students evolved, or different ways that you've had to adapt to the changing things in the world?
I can start on that one.
Great.
I don't know about a lot of these other states, but in Utah, we have gone one to one, they call it. So pretty much every student has their own device. So a Chromebook is usually what they have, and that isn't something of the past. So it's now very easy to incorporate any digital programs like Banzai because they all have their own device in class. So that's been awesome. But with that comes all the distractions that are on there and the
Hmm.
games they can get to, all the ways we have to manage now their technology instead of just a paper and a pencil that you hand them. But it is nice to be able to have all the apps and all the programs. But that was not a thing before COVID, at least in our district, in our
Hmm.
area. It's really been just the last about 2 to 3 years that we have had the one-to-one device
Do you feel like
capability.
as a teacher you have to like compete with all the other things that are available and can be distracting for the students?
100%.
Mhm. Have you found any tools or I guess what I'm thinking of is like different ways to be engaging, whether it's through videos or slide presentations or really just interesting lessons, to make it easier for that engagement to happen?
You can go ahead on that one, Kailey.
I think, well, I'll start off by agreeing that that's kind of something we've had to adapt to, and it's also the amount of games that kids play, like video games that kids play at home.
Hmm.
So they have the device. The device is like super helpful for certain things, like Bonsai, like Google Classroom, or whatever. But we're also competing with their games for attention.
Okay.
They're used to that like instant gratification. So yes, it is sometimes very difficult to keep their attention for long periods of time if it's not something that's gamified, which I feel like you kind of have to do more and more in order to keep them engaged. So Bonsai kind of hits that pretty quickly with the lemonade stand in fifth grade. Um, the I think that most of the programs that schools adopt now have like interactive slides. Mine does, illustrative mathematics. So I think those are helpful. They get to see it on the screen. They get to interact with it, and videos for sure. They love a video, even if it's super cringy.
Awesome. One thing that we are going to share here in a bit is Bonsai has been developing these lesson plans, and I've showed it to both Heather and Kaylee. And a big thing that we talked about is like how long can you keep students engaged before you start to lose them? And the answer I've been getting a lot is like 10 to 20 minutes is, and 20 is maybe pushing it a bit before something needs to change up and happen. So we've been designing those lesson plans to help give teachers a lot of options for different kinds of discussion, different activities and worksheets. And of course, our bonsai games, which are kind of the bread and butter of bonsai, they're designed to keep students interested, engaged. Do you find that students like to talk about money, that they're interested in money and finances, and that when it's time to talk about like the financial literacy portion, that is something that is on their mind a lot?
Yeah, especially with my ninth years that are starting to stuff like that. They really love to talk about money, whether it's, buying a car and loans and or credit score. And they love to have those adult conversations that they realize they're getting closer and closer to like
Mhm.
facing in reality. But they like it when we have the conversations that are really real life. Okay, you got your first job. here's how much you're making. How much of it should you be putting away? What should you be doing with that money when you earn it? And just like how much of it is being taken out in taxes? How does it make you feel when you earn this much and you only get this much? But they like to have those conversations that are really real about and applicable to them in their situation. Yeah, but they love talking about money.
Yeah. Certainly, yeah, we're all concerned about, what is our future going to be like that? And money plays such a big role in that. But I think it's tricky when you're younger to really know exactly how that can work. Do you find that they get caught up, and particularly the older students, but maybe the younger students too, Kaylee, that they get caught up in ideas of like getting rich quick, uh, things like, or just things that are kind of exciting, like cryptocurrency or even like day trading, or becoming famous on a social media channel? Is that something that captures their interest? Yeah, you both seem
Definitely.
to be in agreement of that.
Definitely.
Um, as a teacher, where do you find it can be your responsibility to talk about that with them or discuss? I guess what I'm asking is, do you ever have to kind of burst their bubble a bit about what their expectations are compared to what the reality is?
That's probably a better question for Heather. I think my fifth graders, I kind of let them live in the
Yeah,
dream for a little
they
while.
can
So
dream a little bit longer.
yeah. But if you
Yeah.
ask
Well,
them what they want to be when they grow up, I would say probably 50% of them have some type of like crypto dream or like YouTuber, famous TikToker, like they want to make millions
I'm going to
and
be
they
in the
want to,
NBA. Yeah.
yep, yeah.
Mhm.
There are very few are who say like, teacher or doctor. It's mostly famous, rich. So yeah, they definitely like
Yeah.
that kind of talk.
I will say I've taught seventh grade, and I haven't taught seventh grade for a couple of years, but at least my ninth graders, they really are starting to phase out of that. So they realize like, oh, I'm probably not going to make the NBA or, become
Mhm.
a famous YouTuber. So then they really do start honing in on like achievable, attainable careers that are, you know, can provide them a stable lifestyle. And we do an activity where we do, they have to like try to create their own lifestyle. So they make choices between, an apartment in the city or, a home in the suburbs, and they make all these choices. And then they have to find a career that matches that, lifestyle earning. But the talk about how to support the lifestyle that you want becomes much more real as they, get older.
Yeah, making sure that your expectations and what your wants are, and like what you want to do for a job and what you want, kind of house you want to live in, that those are both compatible. One thing that Bonsai is planning on releasing in the fall is a financial literacy fair, which are pretty popular. There's a lot of different variations of them, but we provide them a tool that takes their state data and they put in like, what do you want to be? And so they put in what you want to be, and then it pulls from the state data, what your average salary will be, and then we'll give them a credit score and some other information like what your household is like. And then they go around to different stations that represent different aspects of your life, from paying taxes to preparing for retirement to what kind of phone plan you have. And they kind of make those decisions of, well, okay, so if you want this kind of phone plan and this kind of house, and you're making this much at the end of the fair, how did you do? Was again
Yeah.
what you want able to meet your expectations, and in what places are you able to change, and what places where it's like, well, maybe I need to get a different job, or maybe I don't need to live in quite as big as a house, or maybe or even maybe not prepare for retirement as much, which we don't suggest. But again, giving them the opportunity to kind of see what it might be like, kind of trying to use real world data, so it feels practical for them. And so we're excited to release that here in the fall. So look forward more to that. One thing I wanted to touch on, and then I'm going to go into the lesson plans. But we talked about technology a little bit, but specifically AI. I know in the past couple of years, there was a lot of thoughts and feelings about it. Have you seen that this like I initially it just felt like cheating was going to be such a big or issue with that. Have you seen that continue to be an issue, or do you have new thoughts concerning AI? Or Kailey, did your students even have a sense of that yet in fifth grade and how that's changing? Just kind of, I mean, it's in my world, it's changed so much about how we do things, about how productive you can be. I'm just interested to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, there's definitely been an increase. We're seeing the language arts teacher had two students actually use AI to write their persuasive essay that they just did last month. So we did have to like have a talk about that with the whole grade because of it. But for math, they do use AI. They just use like the Google AI thing that comes up when you search something. So they'll put in like a math question and it'll just answer it underneath. So I have to make sure that I'm always watching them on Go Guardian. I'm like, hey, are you Googling answers? They're like,
Yeah.
So part of it is just being vigilant about what they're doing and kind of where they're getting the answers from.
yeah.
Have you seen any either issues or problems or way to deal with, or like even just a evolution on how it's used, or maybe benefits that you've seen from it?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, there's a couple of AI platforms that we use specifically on purpose for them to like gain inspiration or creative insight. And then there's obviously the cheating and the, misuse of it that's happening as well. Especially, I mean, I heard a girl yesterday, she said, I just chat GPT everything. And so she said she's literally doing all of her assignments, all of her classes. She's using chat GPT to,
Mm.
complete her assignments. So I actually, and then she got quite a bit of flack from other kids that heard her say that, like,
Oh,
dude, you're not going to know how to do the test. And and they kind of, it was good to, they kind of put her in her place a little bit. And it's becoming, so they know now not to just copy and paste what
yeah.
ChatGPT says because the teacher's going to recognize that's not their own writing and stuff. But I still feel like it's definitely a crutch for some kids, especially once they get in the habit and see how quickly and easily. And honestly, it's not a lot faster than just typing out their 2 sentence response, but in their mind, they don't have to think. So it's
Okay.
just, I don't have to think. I can just type it in and then put it in there and I don't have to think it through if it's not even that much faster. But I do think that we're guiding them and they're learning and we're guiding them how to use it appropriately and how it can enhance and not overtake their education. But I also think just like anything, there's going to be the kids that just can't manage it, can't figure out how to not misuse it. So it's going to be a losing battle for some kids.
No. I certainly think it's not something that's going to go away. It's a part of the ecosystem in the world now. And yeah,
Yeah.
the best we can say, this is what it's good at, this is what it's helpful for, but this is ways that it's not going to be ultimately beneficial to your education. If you're putting
Yeah.
everything into ChatGPT and just having that answer things for you. But it's something we want to stay abreast of here at Bonsai and also develop ways that we can provide teachers with material that is more engaging in classroom discussion. For instance, like the financial literacy fair, ChatGPT is not going to be that helpful for it because it's about going around, talking to people, having your answers. They can put whatever they want in there, but at the end of the day, they still have to interact and think through the things that they need to do. Well, a big part of why we wanted to talk about this what I wish we knew, or really what it is just kind of what the landscape is today, is that there is a lot of new legislation being passed across the country in different states about mandatory teaching financial literacy. Many states, it's either starting up this year or next year, or it's only been a few years. And so a lot of teachers who don't necessarily have a background in financial literacy are being asked to teach a class, and they are, expected to provide this brand new curriculum, meeting these new state standards that haven't been addressed before. Here at Bonsai, as we have seen that, we realized that we wanted to provide a resource to embolden those teachers to feel confident that they have everything that they need to kind of teach financial literacy based on their state standards, top to bottom. And so, one thing I wanted to preview for everyone, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second and get that ready. Um, is a new feature that we call our lesson plans. So let me share my new screen. So this is my not real class, but just the class I demo everything when I'm talking to teachers. As you can see, I teach hundreds of classes all at the same time. But you can see that there's one slight difference between what you have and what I have, and it's this lesson button here at the top. And so we're trying to create lessons that will take all the resources that we have and enable them to teachers to use them to teach hit whatever they need to with financial literacy. So, Kailey, I know that you like to teach lemonade stand and use our lemonade stand game in your math classes. And so, although this is still in beta, so this is still a test, so it's not the full thing yet. But if I was a math teacher coming to Bonsai, I could find the unit that has lemonade stand and use those lessons. So even if I just had one day, I can pick and find the lessons that I want to teach. But also, our plan is if you need to teach 50 lessons over the course of the semester, that we provide you everything that you need to foundationally do that. And everyone on the webinar chat today, we would love to hear your feedback. So I'm going to go over it, but if you are interested in talking with us about it or sharing some of your thoughts, again, this is a beta. We have done our best to make it as easy and accessible for teachers, but until we hear from teachers who are going to be ultimately the experts, we definitely know that there is room for improvement. So if you are interested in testing out the beta, you can email me at richard@bonsai.org, and I'll have a slide with that later as we close up here today. But I'm just going to go through what we're hoping to be able to provide teachers. So with our lesson plans, we're going to have what we're calling units, and each unit will go over a basic topic. Right now, we just have the one unit, the financial essentials unit, and each unit is going to have 10 lessons. And inside, so this is just an overview of the lessons, but this is what you're going to get when you click on one of our lessons. So first of all, we're always going to give you kind of a summary of what we have. Each lesson comes with a bell ringer, a quick little question or activity or something just to get the brain churning on what the topic is going to be that day. We'll have a little bit of instruction, but not too much, as I have heard. So we're trying to make sure there's not too much discussion and that we can hop right into something like a fun group discussion for the students, an activity. So even for instance, just from the feedback from the Teacher Advisory Board, instead of just having a full discussion for our first lesson, we added the activity of you start the life scenarios warm up to get the students engaged and to, again, have them doing something and start jumping into these concepts. And also, there's kind of a wrap up question or thought there at the end. So you're going to get that in. So that's just the summary, but you'll also each lesson will come, anything that you can assign via Bonsai will be found here, and any articles or worksheets that you can either send digitally or print will be found below. But every lesson will also come with a class discussion. So these are slides that will, like a slide deck that will go over everything that is just shown in the summary, but in much more detail. A really fun thing about it, and I hope this works with my share the screen that's going on, so let me know if it doesn't, but you don't have to download anything to show it. All you have to do is press present and it goes full screen. And so Yeah, there's no like getting it into your PowerPoint thing and then open your PowerPoint thing, and there's always that embarrassing part where people see like the behind the scenes of the PowerPoint. And I always get embarrassed when that happens. And it happens to me every time I have to present a PowerPoint. So from here, you can just click the button and instantly you have this found this slide deck that will go over everything you need to know. Oh, was someone saying something? Oh, must have been a glitch. So it'll go over the bell ringer, and this is really the meat of the topics are going to be found. So this is the slideshow itself, but we also are going to provide notes for all the slides. So here is the notes, and each slide will come with notes, how to teach the various topics, different ideas or questions that you can ask. These no, we are working digitally and making these as accessible as possible. So being able to download them as a PDF or print them and just kind of adapt them for teachers. What we really want these lesson plans to be is that if you've never taught financial literacy before, then it's a solid foundation that you can depend on. Um, we're taking into great consideration the different state standards, and we'll probably have different units based on the various needs of the state. And so California might have kind of a different setup or maybe ask some different questions than New York would. But our dream is that we can provide lessons for any teacher just starting out teaching financial literacy, that they can feel confident that they're teaching everything that they need to teach and that they have all the resources necessary to teach it. And that's a big dream, but that is our hope. And also for teachers who have used either Bonsai in the past or have their own curriculum or have been teaching for years, we hope that this is, again, a nice solid foundation for them to consider and that they can adapt it however they want for their teaching style. Again, so if you take a look at these lessons and you say, well, I have 3 days to teach. I want to teach about budgeting. I want to teach about debt because that's really important to me. And I want to teach about investing and retirement. You could just pick those three and teach them. You don't necessarily have to do the one before it. Unless here's the one caveat, because our games can take a bit longer, we'll sometimes stretch those over a few days, but we'll let you know if that happens. So that is just what initially we have, but we are looking to get feedback and to have people test these out and see how they think. So if there's an opportunity for you to use this in your upcoming classes this semester, we would love to hear how it works and what does and doesn't work for you. Or if you just want to give us feedback, again, all you have to do is email me and I will add you to the list of teachers who need to use it. And you'll see this lessons in the top left-hand corner. So that is our big plug for lesson plans. Thank you, Heather, and thank you, Kailey, both for your feedback. Some of the changes that we made to this was directly because of the feedback given. The great thing about Bonsai is that we try really hard to listen to teachers, and often our greatest ideas and solutions to problems will come from teachers. And we're a small company, so it's easy. Again, send us a suggestion, and you might see it next year on Bonsai. Um, well, that's
Richard,
all yes,
sorry to
Natalie,
interrupt.
no problem.
We just have a question in the chat about Isaac says, I love the slides. Would we be able to have the standards included into the lesson plans as well as the ability to search by standard? And that's something that we are working on, but I wondered if you could show them the standards tool that we have, just so
Sure
he knows
can.
how that. I can ping you a direct link too, if that's easier.
Uh,
Oh, you got it. I think it's just
uh,
resources there.
resources,
Yep.
standard
So
alignment.
go to
Okay,
that.
I knew where it was at. I
Perfect.
did great. Yeah, so this is what we're using, and this is what we're going to kind of combine with these lessons to make them again so that the lessons are meeting the standards for each state. So we went through and looked at the legislation of the thing for every state, and so you can click on your state here, or just pick your state from this list. I grew up in Montana, so we can take a look at what their standards are. so I've clicked view alignment. You can see, sorry, I have so many Zoom windows up. Okay, so I'm going to do the ninth to 12th grade standards. And so this is the standards here on the left. And then all of our things that are starting to hit those standards, whether that's a game or a worksheet, or an article or a calculator. And so we've taken all the standards and then put it into plain English for you, and then are meeting those standards with these things on the left. This is a tool that anyone can use. You don't even have to log in to Banzai to use it. But again, it is kind of cumbersome to go to this tool, take a look, make sure you're hitting the things and doing the things. But our goal is going to be that we'll just have less units and lesson plans made specifically to hit all the standards in your state. And so you just go in, and so you will be able to be searchable kind of by the state and by the standard. And what was the other question? Uh, Searchable by state and standard. And what was the other thing that was asked? Let's see.
He's teaching in
And
Hawaii
then,
if you
oh
want
yes,
to. I love
it
Hawaii.
will show you how it matches with the different standards. And so you'll know like this is hitting this standard and this is hitting that standard. That won't be available in the beta, but it's definitely something that we plan on adding in the future. All right. Well, is there any other questions from the chat that you would like to ask our advisory board? Just again, it's we're here to help out, and again, the best ideas come from teachers and sharing it with teachers. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And while you're typing those out, I just want to thank Heather and Kailey so much. Being a two-person roundtable is tricky on the best of days, and so that put a lot of pressure on both of you. I apologize that other people weren't able to make it, but I think you did an excellent job. Thank you so much for all your great insight and answering my questions. I really appreciate it. Teachers are really the heart and soul of Bonsai, and so I love to sing your praises and get your help, and your feedback has been invaluable for us. The truth is, just as time happens, teachers come and go. And so, also, if anyone in the chat is interested in joining our teacher advisory board, feel free to email me, and I can get a hold of you because we're kind of looking to fill some seats as time has moved on. We hate to see them go, but I'd love to meet a new group of teachers to help us with our advisory board. Outside of that, let me pull up the final slides and make sure I'm hitting everything. Again, okay, this is where, yep, see, you can see the background. This happens to me every time. All right. So this is the slide for joining our beta. That's Richard at bonsai.org. Your direct feedback is going to help improve that. And we really want to hear from as many teachers as we can. We're going to be at CCSS in California, if any of our teachers are from California. So that's the California Council for Social Studies. If you're going to that, we are booth 106. Come say hi, come get some free swag, come talk to us about your experiences, or maybe some ideas for teaching. Natalie, were there any final questions that you saw that you want to make sure that we hit?
I think that covers it all. If you're looking for a specific lesson plan, I'll just add because we had a question about that in the chat. We are right now actually just putting together all of these lesson plans, and so we're going to roll out in chunks. But if you have requests, just feel free to email them to us, and we can help you put together a list of resources in the meantime that you can use to, put together something before we have it officially in place.
All right.
I
Thank you,
think that's
Natalie.
it.
All right. Well, thanks everyone today. You can earn your free PD credit You should get an email with that link up to a day from now. You just fill out that form, and then we'll send you this certification. If you have any questions, just email support@banzai.org. If any of you are new to Banzai and you want to learn more about our professional development, you can watch all of the previous sessions by following the QR code on the left. If you want to do a demo of using Banzai and help you get started, you can use the QR code on the right. Next month, we are going to be, or remind me, Natalie, who's going to be talking? I know it's from FICO, though.
Yes, we have one of the senior education instructors from FICO that's going to be doing a session with us, and it's going to be awesome. It's on March 11th.
Great. So please join us with that. And hit us up on our socials. They're all there right there. But again, thank you so much, Kailey. Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you so much, everyone who joined us. We hope to be a great resources for teachers to use in order to, again, help teach this new generation of people who are coming up. And we're excited for what the future holds. All right. Bye, everyone.